This is Tammi Manley. And Tammi, how long have you had horses?
Ever since I grew up with them, ever since I was a small child.
And right now, what do you have?
I have three-quarter horses.
And you teach people how to ride them and train them and what all?
I do mainly basic riding lessons. I train my own, but I teach basic riding lessons.
And what's the name of your riding camp?
T's Riding Camp.
T's Riding Camp. What's your website?
www.tsridingcamp.com.
All right. Tammi, why do people have horses? What is it that fascinates people about horses?
Well, you've got all kinds of reasons. Some like them strictly to look at, pasture ornaments, we call it. Others have them for their children, want to let them have a hobby with horses, and others get so attached to them for competition reasons. They want to show, be it Western pleasure, saddle horses, doesn't matter, but a lot of them get involved in showing. So,
what does it cost to keep a horse, Tammi? A month.
Costs quite a bit a month. It varies. It depends on how many you've got. With one horse, between hay, shoeing, vet bills, the things that you have to do yearly, there's a pretty good expense in it. You got to be ready for that to take care of them. Otherwise, they're large pets, and it will show that you're not taking care of them. So there is a big expense to it. You got to be ready for that. And as the economy changes with fuel and gas and metal and things like that, the prices change as well.
Now, to board a horse, what does it usually cost?
You can pasture board a horse where they're not stalled. They're strictly out to pasture, and that goes anywhere from $200 to $275 a month.
But to have them with a stall and sweet feed and all that?
That's typically about $350 and it depends on where you are. Mm-hmm. If you're in a rural area, is what I'm referring to right now, to do a full board with stalls and feeding and putting them up in and out, that can go anywhere from $375 to $475. If you're in a large city, those prices you might as well double.
So you're talking about $600 to $800 to keep up a horse, right?
Absolutely.
All right. Why do people like them? Why do you like horses, Tammi?
They've been a part of my background, whether it was work or pleasure. I grew up on a working cattle farm, so we used them for work, but we also used them for pleasure. So it kind of gets in your blood, and once it does, it's hard to get rid of. Love competition. I started out doing more after I got out on my own, doing more pleasure riding. It was time to have fun, not just work. So did a lot of trail riding, and that was great. It's social. A lot of people do that just to get out around nature and then have all the friends that you can imagine, to a lot of acquaintances with that. It's strictly pleasure. It's like camping but carrying your horses along. Otherwise, I did that for a long time, and then I got very interested in competition. So I had a real good friend who moved to this area who has been in competing all of her life, and she's kind of got me into reining now. So it's a new discipline, very different, very tough discipline, but it's challenging me to learn to do more.
What is reining, Tammi?
Reining is a Western riding event. It is, they call it the dressage of Western riding because it is very, very detailed. It's a lot of fast riding. You have patterns. You have to remember patterns, and your horses are so well trained that the judges do not want to see much out of us as a rider at all. So we do lots and lots of training to make that competition go well.
All right, Tammi, what does it take for someone to learn to ride a horse? Let's say someone's never ridden a horse before. What do you have to teach them about riding a horse?
Well, they've got to really want it first, and as soon as you put them, it does take a little bit of work and will to do it. But to start out, you want to get a good balance on a horse. You want to teach them to learn to communicate with the horse, to learn to read a horse, to not just pull and tug and push and shove. It's more about you get a balance on that horse, and then you get that horse to work along with you. It's a partnership. It's a relationship. It's not just you going to control the horse, because they're a lot stronger than we are. That's not something you want to try to control on your own.
How long does it take you to build a relationship with a horse to where you can ride them comfortably?
Everybody's different with that. And you're going to get out of it what you put into it. So the amount of time you put into it is everything. And if you're going out there to really want to know that and learn that, you'll progress along quickly. Within a year's time, you'll be doing very, very well. If you go out there and you're just strictly wanting to have fun and you're not thinking and really concentrating or focusing on how to make this really teamwork, it takes a lot longer. There's a lot to getting your balance and then coordinating your hands, your legs, and your seat to get this animal to work along with you.
How long does it take someone just to learn to ride? In other words, to never get on a horse before, learn how to get on, sit him, make him go, make him stop, make him back up?
Within, typically, I usually say within 8 hours. That's 8 one-hour lessons if they come back pretty much back-to-back every week. They can get the basics that they need, and then they can just practice that and apply that. But they can learn it fairly quick.
What's the 5 biggest mistakes people make with horses?
Not safe. Their safety. They trust too much, and basically they treat them like puppy dogs. So when you spoil a large animal like that, and he or she becomes dominant, people think it's cute and funny. It can get you hurt. You need to have a discipline with a horse so that there's a respect there.
Number 2.
Number 2, they're feeding, poor feeding, not learning how to really care for the horse.
What's number 3?
Lack of shoeing them properly and often enough.
How often should you shoe a horse?
Every 6 to 8 weeks.
Every 6 to 8 weeks, you gotta have new shoes.
They need to have new shoes, or there's a lot now where, depending on where you are, what you're doing, the ground you're on, barefoot can be fine, but you still need to have somebody check them and make sure their feet are doing well after probably 2 or 3 months.
Okay, what's number 4 mistake they make with horses?
Their tack and how they apply that, how they use that with the horse, or how they fit that to the horse is really the way to say it.
Tack, you mean saddles, bridles?
Saddles and bridles, bits, huge problem, and how they place them in their mouth, and again, how they use their hands with the horse.
How the rider uses the hands with the horse.
How the rider uses their hands.
All right, number 5. What's the 5th mistake? Buying the wrong kind of horse?
Oh, absolutely. 5th mistake. Big, huge. It should have been number 1. Everybody wants to go buy the young horse to train up, to bring up with their child. And absolutely wrong. Get a horse that already, if you're a beginner, get a horse that's already been ridden, knows what it's doing, it's got a lot of miles on it. That's safe, and that teaches you. But you do not learn to ride along with a horse that doesn't know how to handle a rider.
Now, if people want to know more about horses and training them and buying them and learning how to ride, how do they contact you?
You can contact me by the website, tsridingcamp.com, or there's an email that is Tammi Manley, TAMMIMANLEY, @yahoo.com.